Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Lord Jesus Christ. Today is a gospel which all of us must hear, but all of us are loath to hear. All of us are cringing a little bit hearing that gospel because it speaks of something that we all must face, we all will taste. But many of us are, as I said, not wanting to hear it. The truth is, we are like that man. This man who enjoyed riches and wealth, this man who enjoyed bountifully the things that God had actually given him, he had lost sight of his life. He thought his life was to be consisting of how much he had and how much he would enjoy and how he would enjoy it. And so he left no real preparation. To be fair to the man, he did as most people would do. He obviously was a well-learned farmer. He knew how to bring about crops. He knew how to build barns. He had enough wisdom, enough common sense to build barns and see, well, I should do more because I'll have more. But he wasn't truly wise. He wasn't truly seeing the wealth that he had, which was his soul. So he neglected his soul. And so in the abundance of his earthly goods, he became hard of heart. He became blind. He began to put his efforts in things that were not going to simply last, but were actually not his own. Again, he had lost sight that all his abundance and his excess was from God. And so the Lord calls him and he says, "Fool." One who does not know that there's a God, fool. This night, your soul is required of you. He had no idea. He was planning, he was getting ready for a good season of resting and eating and being merry. My brothers and my sisters, the good news about today is it doesn't have to be this way for any of us. In fact, it shouldn't be. Let me tell you the story of a righteous one. I knew a woman who had much in her life. She had wealth, she had money, she had class. She knew how to handle herself, she had respect. Her husband was respected. Her husband had money. She sent her children to private schools. She had all the latest appliances. She had a new car. And I knew this woman, and slowly but surely she began to lose those things. The first thing that she lost, before her money, before her cars, before her appliances, before her dignity, she lost her faculties. She became blind. And so this righteous one, in her blindness, this was the journey for her to see what was truly important. And so, as I watched this righteous one, as I watched this woman have everything peeled from her slowly, first her eyesight, then the comfort of her life, her respect, people who she thought were friends, who slowly began to disappear, eventually losing her home, eventually losing even her life. And so this righteous one, I saw that it was possible to prepare yourself, because as her life slipped from her, nothing could comfort her. She had lost her faculties. She wasn't even aware of where she was at. The only thing that she was aware of is how much pain she was in. This is what death looks like. But as I was with this righteous one and I began to share with her the thing that I knew was so important to her, because I knew that she'd been building her proper barns, the right barns. She had been spending her life, although on one hand being peeled away bit by bit from her, she was building her inner life, you see. I'm telling you something, her faculties failed her. She knew not where she was. But as I read the Psalms to her, this was the only moment of relief she had in these final hours of her life. The only time that she was able to give any sort of sigh of relief and comfort and even grimace a smile was her soul was being fed with the Psalms. And how is this possible? I will tell you how it's possible, because she knew, although she lost her physical sight, God granted her to begin to have spiritual sight. And she began to understand that all the things that she rejected when she was a young woman, the rolling of the eyes of what her mother had tried to teach her, the rolling of the eyes of the Lord beckoning to her, she began to see, my God, what am I to do with my life? I can't cook for my children. I can't bathe my children. I can do nothing. So she began to build her true barns. And I watched her. And I watched her in peace. Not peace of body. She's in pain. Peace of soul. This righteous one, she's not an Orthodox Christian. So I challenge all of you, how much more so should you guys be prepared? This righteous one who had not the tradition of daily prayer, had not the tradition of being able to call on the saints and the Mother of God, had not the tradition of fasting, had not the tradition of what it means to have ascetic life, did not know the beauty of the liturgy, did not have the wondrous words of the saints of what heaven would be like. And yet she built her barns. How much more all of you who have been given everything. Each one of you has been given everything possible. So many people lack what you have been given. Understand why you're here. You're not here to be good citizens of earth. You're here to be good citizens of heaven. Each one of you will pass these gates. Not one of you will escape it. So I beg you, prepare yourselves. It can be done. This is not a dour or down message. This is one of hope. If this righteous woman who had not the life of the church can prepare herself with the things of God, with what little bit of life she had, she used it. How much more all of you who are sitting at a table, don't let the food rot in front of you. Prepare yourself. Prepare your barns, your true barns. Train yourselves so that your souls will receive and be receptive to the life and the love of God. These things, your pride, your life, your comforts, they're blinding you, they're killing you. God loves us, and He's given us everything we need in our tradition to know Him and to know each other without vanity, without pride. These are the things that get in our way. These are the things that are rotting our barn houses. Build them. Build the real barn house of your soul, my brothers and my sisters. The time is coming when you know not. That's okay, because if you trust in the Lord, it won't matter when the time comes, because you'll be ready. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.